Here's your coffee.
Eileen is by far the best female character in regular show. Every other female character in regular show just has so many writing problems when it comes to how they're portrayed because they're always really reactionary. Margaret was always reactionary to what everybody else was doing and never really had any hobbies or interests of her own unless it favored what everybody else was doing. CJ seemed to have a little bit more interest, but we never really got to see an episode that was all about her, that showcased what she was into. Even the episode like Daddy Issues where she has to do mini golf, that wasn't really a passion of hers, that was a passion of her father's. We still got to learn about her, we still got to see the things that she got to do, but when it's compared to Eileen, we got to actually slowly develop Eileen into a true person beyond just being a love interest. And that's what made it so much sweeter when she eventually does become a love interest for Rigby, because Rigby goes from being this character who is just so problematic to naturally becoming a better person because of Eileen. Everything that Eileen does in the show makes characters better, and her slow, progressive build into an actual character makes her worthy of becoming one of the main cast in Season 8. Eileen is by far the best female character, and today I'm going to be diving deep into Eileen's progression as a character, her story, and understanding her importance to the overall plot. Now, the last time I made an Eileen video, it was honestly just a throwaway video. I was just making that so that I could post something that day, and it went on to get 100,000 views. But with my new format and my more in-depth analysis, I really wanted to tackle Eileen's story again, because I think her progression as a character is one of the best, and it's what makes her one of the most lovable characters in the show. And she starts off the series as a hopeless romantic. Believe it or not, she doesn't even appear at all in Season 1. She genuinely wasn't even a character of thought. It was all about Margaret in Season 1. But in Season 2, they decided to add Eileen, and she really didn't have a whole lot of characteristics to her for a little bit, but she eventually does start developing into a character, and I would say even in her first introduction episodes, she really does have more of a personality than Margaret already. I mean, the first time that we actually do see her in Brain Eraser after Mordecai, looks at Pops' junk mail, they go to the coffee shop to try to get over, his big ol' wrinkly balls, and they just see Eileen, and Mordecai has already gotten his brain erased, and that's when Margaret's all like, Mordecai's looking really hot, and then Eileen is like, is Mordecai ignoring you? And that's pretty much all we get from Eileen.
Mordecai, you're back. Feeling better? Mordecai?
Oh my gosh, is Mordecai ignoring you?
Is it just me, or does Mordecai look like he's been working out?
Mordecai!
Just a co-worker so far. She started off as just a co-worker for Margaret, but then it starts to develop a little bit more right away when we go into episodes like Do Me a Solid. And in this episode, it's basically all about solids, you do this thing for me, you fold these socks, I'll cheese these nachos, stuff like that. And in order for Eileen to go out with Rigby and for Mordecai to go out with Margaret, they have to go on a double date with each other, and this involves Rigby asking Mordecai for 10 solids to go on this double date. And they could have just went the route of Eileen just being, oh man, Rigby's hot, Rigby's so cool, I like Rigby, being the only thing that she would say the majority of the time, but Eileen is actually presented as a really good person throughout this entire episode, even though Rigby is being a scum of the earth the entire time. Eileen is doing really weird things, like pretending she is a sea turtle and laying her eggs in the sand to impress Rigby.
Rigby, look at me. I just laid sea turtle eggs, and now I'm gonna swim out to sea. Although many of my hatchlings won't live to adulthood.
And even though that is very very weird, especially on your first date with this guy, it still gives her more of a characteristic than anything Margaret did for the first couple seasons, because this was just her going out of her way to do something really weird, and genuinely no other female character tends to go and do that. No other character is all like, oh yeah, I'm gonna go do something really random that actually showcases that I'm kind of like nerdy or kind of weird or kind of actually have interest outside of just whatever you're saying. No other female character ever did that, and Eileen did it in one of her first episodes, which immediately makes you relate to her as a person. I mean, I don't know about relate, but it makes you think of her as more of a person instead of just this reactionary thing for all of the characters to just respond and talk to. That's what I enjoy. And then going further into the episode, after they're done playing mini golf, Eileen is just like celebrating Rigby, throwing confetti all over him, hyping him up.
Woohoo! Congratulations on second place, Rigby.
Even though Rigby is still being an absolute little dicky raccoon, she is just hyping him up, being a really good person. That's what makes Eileen interesting, because she's actually going out of her way to do things on her own. But although she does showcase some characters, she still wasn't anything more than a hopeless romantic for the majority of the first 2 or 3 seasons. It's not until Rigby starts needing some elements of change that she actually starts becoming a better person. I mean, there's episodes like Diary where she isn't featured for the entire episode, and then Rigby's all like, I think Eileen is hot without her glasses on, so that he doesn't get murdered by Margaret's guardian of secrets, and then at the end of the episode, she shows up wearing no glasses in a very funny moment.
Here's your coffee.
Great stuff. I enjoy that. A bunch of baby ducks. She's kind of just back to a co-worker slash semi-friend role where they offer to give her the baby ducks and she just is allergic to duck dandruff. Just still not showcasing too much of her character, but at least she's there.
Rigby ignoring you because you're not a beautiful swan yet?
Well, we found them at the park and we're supposed to get rid of them. Actually, we were thinking maybe you guys could use some baby ducks.
No pets allowed in my building.
And I'm allergic to duck dander.
And at least she actually is just being a nice person and actually has the groundwork to become a good person. That's what makes her a lot better, is because you don't like have to feed it down my throat that, Mordecai is just so into Margaret, but he can't move his hands. He wants her so bad. No, Rigby isn't even interested in an Eileen at this point.
You only need one thing to get a girl's number. A sweet ride.
I mean, not necessarily. You could just, ask a girl for it, Rigby.
Eileen, don't be so naive. That would never work.
Which lets their friendship actually blossom and grow and actually be interesting, even though Eileen is just hopelessly in love with Rigby for the majority of the series, pretty much since her introduction. It still makes their entire bond and their eventual relationship all the more enjoyable because they didn't just rush into it and shove it down your throat that, these two characters belong together. They actually let the fans in the audience, get the clues, get the hints, and slowly believe that this could actually be a relationship. That's what makes it more enjoyable. Now, Eileen genuinely had echoes of potential, and it always makes me wonder, what if instead of working at the coffee shop to focus on going to school and getting her degree and all of that, she actually worked at the park? I feel like that could have been such an interesting dynamic, especially with Rigby and all the other characters, and probably would have made her go down as one of the main characters of regular show. I mean, of course there's a cult following for Eileen. So many people think she is genuinely one of the best characters in the entire show, but I always wish that we got to see more of her. I know they eventually did realize that later on, that we needed to see a lot more Eileen, because in the later seasons we do get a ton of Eileen, but I wish they realized that sooner instead of focusing on the red bird. I would have enjoyed a lot more Eileen, and she just genuinely had so much potential in episodes like Camping Can Be Cool, where it was really the first episode that showcased everything that she could be in the series, because this episode is all about Mordecai and Rigby wanting to take Margaret and Eileen camping, and we get so many Eileen developments here that don't really, make her the craziest character, but still it's giving her so much life. Like the part of the episode where they're just talking and they forget the lighter, and then Eileen just instantly makes a fire just all on her own.
Guys, I got it.
Did you find the matches?
No, I just did it the old-fashioned way.
Wow, Eileen, I didn't know you were so handy.
Yeah, I used to get lost in the woods a lot.
When you were a kid?
Last year.
And they're just like, how did you know how to do that? And they're just like, well, I used to get lost in the woods a lot. And then Margaret's like, when you were a kid? And she's like, last year. It's just so funny. It's such a random scene, but it just adds depth to her character that actually makes her seem like an interesting person. And this is almost 4 seasons in, and Margaret has never done the same thing. That's why she's genuinely a good female character, because they're treating her more than just a shallow romantic interest. Eileen is a genuine person, a genuine character, and then just later on in the episode, you could see genuine developments between her and Rigby, just playing games. She shows off her intelligence, and she actually seems like she could hang out with Rigby and becomes friends with Rigby, and just, it's natural, it's enjoyable.
See, like the handle of the ladle?
It's called Ursa Major, not Ursula Merger. And that's not even it. That's Orion.
Oh, and she didn't even have to look up.
And then when the freak deer shows up to literally murder them all, she's the only character with the intuition to smash a rock through the window to get back in the car, which potentially saves their lives.
3,
Come on, come on!
4.
It actually gives Eileen a character and a basis to go off of, that she's smart, she's kind of weird, and you could just build off that to create an actual character instead of just focusing on, oh, how does this character react only when they're with Mordecai? That's why Eileen is the best and only female character in regular show that I could say genuinely deserves to be part of the main cast. And then for a while, instead of just developing this relationship with Rigby, they just make them truly seem like really good friends, but also just slowly give Eileen hobbies and interests and things from her past to make her a more well-rounded character, like in the episode 1 pull-up when Rigby is just failing immensely to do a pull-up.
Stop talking!
Come on, dude, quit messing around and just do the pull-up.
I'm trying!
Nobody really can help him, he can't help himself, so he goes to Eileen, and Eileen just randomly starts doing a mass amount of pull-ups, is just a absolute athlete. And we get to learn about her past, how she used to do stuff like that all the time, and she begins to train Rigby, even helping Rigby to overcome his allergy to eggs somehow. Yes, Rigby eats eggs here, doesn't make much sense, but I'm just gonna roll with it. And Eileen helps him train, and Rigby still doesn't have confidence, but at least Eileen was there to help him. And so Rigby uses the Russian, and when he just becomes too big, too massive, too swole, an absolute unit, Eileen is the only one that can motivate him to actually go do that pull-up, helping him to envision it in his mind.
No, it's not. There's still time. Do what I say. Close your eyes. Now picture that pull-up bar. Do you see it?
I see it. I see the pull-up bar.
Then go do it!
And actually be able to do the pull-up, and at the end of the episode, they get a little hug, and Eileen's spine gets crushed.
I'll take my chances. Totally worth it.
It's just good stuff that doesn't need to focus on the romance, but also builds their bond in a really natural and real way. I enjoy that. I like that. And then you go into episodes like TGI Tuesday, where it's not really focusing on their bond or their friendship or building that, but it's just them hanging out, having a good time, trying to help Mordecai set up for a big TGI Tuesday party. And at the end, they just have a big dance. Well, throughout the episode, Rigby and Eileen are just bonding, having a good time, sharing some laughs.
Eileen, check this out.
It's just, it doesn't really have to focus on that, but it still works in that notion because they're just hanging out, having a good time. That's what I like. You don't need to shove it down my throat. Meteor Moves was another great episode to highlight Eileen's intelligence and her interest in space and all that. When she joins in, when Mordecai and Rigby are like, shine, 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 shimmy, shine, and just says something really about, like, stars that's weird and like nuclear fusion.
Me shine.
To clear up the confusion, stars are made of gas. They shine from thermonuclear fusion.
Thanks for clearing that up, Eileen.
Yeah, stuff like that. And then at the end of the episode, she's just so excited, so happy about this beautiful meteor shower.
It's beautiful!
I can't take this anymore!
Just stuff like that, just little hints of her interest are really good. Episodes like Tants, where Mordecai and Rigby just get their Tants brutally destroyed, their pants that are a table, and they don't know what to do.
Ah, what the? Gross! What did you do?
All I did was use them for a pizza dinner with Starla.
And then they both just look at each other and they're like, Eileen. And then for 5 minutes, we could just get a montage of Eileen being super excited about this ultimate sewing machine.
Eileen!
Wow, a Diamond Crown Stitch Horse 5000 Double Diamond Series? You know they stopped making these in '75. It's the last of its series to have a solid steel throat plate.
So does that mean you can do it?
With a workhorse like this, I think I can manage.
And she just starts using it to create brand new Tants, and then when the Tants Corporation comes, she is the most devastated when they get destroyed. Stuff like that makes her an actual character instead of just a love interest. Stuff like that makes her actually have life, makes it all the better when she genuinely does become a love interest for Rick. Once we got past season 4, I feel like we finally just got to the point where the creators were like, okay, Eileen is a really good character, let's focus on her a lot more, because she actually started to get episodes that were all about her. Starting off with episodes like Video 101, which isn't my favorite episode, but that's mainly just because of how Mordecai and Rigby are acting, but it's an episode all about how Eileen really needs an A on her video project, and she has no idea what to do for something like this, which leads to Mordecai and Rigby just hijacking, taking it over. Genuine zebra head!
7, 8.
Hi, Eileen.
Ah! Cut! The heck is that?
Genuine zebra head.
Just doing a bunch of shenanigans that Eileen doesn't really like, and by the time that Eileen almost has to submit her project, she has no time left and Mordecai and Rigby have produced slop. Which leads to a really good ending for this episode where Eileen takes charge and says we're going to do this all in one take, where they're just dancing everywhere, dancing on the moon, dancing on a mountain, dancing just everywhere all at once. And creates a really good video where Eileen was able to take charge and get that automatic A. Yeah, just really good stuff like that. It's just a really good episode and a good basis for what Eileen could possibly do in episodes that are all about her. And then we go into episodes that are more of the hinting and foreshadowing that Eileen and Rigby have already become something more, which is a great way to write a character, especially for the fans, because if you go and like check any forum about regular show during episodes like this, I guarantee you there are a bunch of people who will be like, are Eileen and Rigby secretly dating? What's going on? What was up with that? Because that makes the show interesting. It makes you wonder, it makes you question a bunch of things, and the writers sprinkled in so many hints that Rigby and Eileen had finally gone together, but they didn't go out of their way to make it a huge deal, which again makes it feel more natural and more right instead of shoving it down your throat with everything that Mordecai was doing. With episodes like Real Date, where in this episode, it's just Rigby and Eileen helping Mordecai and CJ to try to give gifts to each other, and at the end of that episode, when, things go awry and Eileen sees that Mordecai might be literally dead, she sees this as a great opportunity to steal the date that she got for CJ to give to Mordecai and give it to Rigby, and just a really wholesome moment to end that episode where Rigby is just absolutely hyped about this giant chocolate waffle. He is thrilled, but little moments like that start to hint at their relationship.
Is this waffles and a cake and chocolate?
Yeah,
I love it.
I thought that you would.
Daddy Issues is also a great one where Rigby is just being absolutely obnoxious. He's so sad he throws his lunch at a wall, and then he's trying to help CJ, motivate CJ to win this golfing tournament, and when CJ does win it to get the cut the line, the cheesers card thing, she throws it in the lava and Rigby is just sad and depressed. But at the end of that episode, there's just a joke where Eileen is just like, I'll wait in line with you, Rigby. I'll wait.
Don't worry, Rigby. I'll wait in line at Cheezer's with you. I'll wait.
And then episodes like Lift With Your Back is a great episode to highlight that Rigby is truly becoming a better person, and whether or not that was because of his relationship with Eileen, he is going out of his way to do better things. And in this episode, Rigby is just feeling unwanted, he's feeling unappreciated, he wants to feel useful, and Mordecai throws him under the bus and says that he wouldn't even have this job without Mordecai, so Rigby quits, and the one person that Rigby would go to for support to actually tell him that he is useful and he can do things is Eileen. And Eileen is there to rub his back, to help him when he's suffering at his brand new job and to motivate him to keep on doing it.
All week. Maybe I should just take my old job back.
Why do you keep saying back?
It's all I hear all day.
I don't mean to sound harsh, but this seems like a toxic work environment. Your back's all mangled and ropey.
Thanks.
And even when Rigby is at his hardest moment, where he has to move an entire truck all by himself, the one character that can motivate him, even though Mordecai is there just being like, yeah, Rigby, Eileen is saying that you are useful, you could do this, now lift that box, and Rigby is able to do it, mainly because of the motivation by Eileen.
Rigby, enough of this! I know you're useful! Now lift with your back so you can get that paycheck!
Rigby's character went from being extremely problematic, just starting almost every single problem, and as he slowly got closer to Eileen, he became a better person. And we get to see a lot more of that growth in later seasons, and it's all happening because of Eileen, and because it gave Rigby a reason to be a better person. Rigby in the past seasons, he was kind of just always the same, always wanting whatever he wanted, but once he had this person who could help elevate him into being better, and he wanted to be better to deserve this person, that's when Rigby genuinely started to become a better person. And with that, we get even more episodes that mainly highlight that Rigby and Eileen are dating, and these are pretty much the first episodes where I could definitely confirm that at this point in the series they were probably definitely dating, with episodes like Eileen Flat Screen, where Rigby just immediately knows where the key to her house is.
Hang on, let me get the key.
You know where Eileen keeps her house key?
Yeah, I water her plants sometimes when she goes out of town for a dance invitational or whatever.
It just can instantly find that for some odd reason, and he goes into the house and he's willing to do this big thing to set up a flat screen TV for Eileen, and just the end of that episode is super wholesome, with Eileen being shocked and surprised that Rigby did this for her.
Surprise! Check it out, Eileen. Your TV's all set up. Don't worry about the installs. It's ready for your eyeballs.
Nuh-uh! You guys didn't have to go to so much trouble. Thank you.
It was all Rigby's idea.
Really?
It's just Rigby going out of his way to do something so nice. And then you have episodes like I See Turtles, where just Eileen just loves turtles. She wants to go see these baby turtles hatching, and when chaos devolves because of this spa that is apparently using all the baby turtles to use their everlasting youth essence juice on their face so that they can basically be immortal forever, that's when Rigby stands up and helps Eileen and tries to keep all of those baby turtles safe.
Let those turtles go! Sand boning! Get to the turtles!
And in this episode, we also get a lot of developments for Eileen, becoming a strong, basically, leader, willing to do anything for the environment and for the turtles, giving the turtles the speech that they needed to not feel overpowered, so that the turtles could go on a rampage and basically start just slapping people out of existence. These are great episodes to develop Eileen, and also just keep on giving you the hints that Eileen and Rigby are in a relationship. Now, Eileen is an amazing character in her own right, but one of the best aspects of her character was the fact that she made Rigby a better person. And in the last video I made about Eileen, I said that she fixed Rigby, which I honestly think I was wrong about. I think Rigby fixed Rigby. But before Eileen was a pivotal role in his life, he never had a reason to become better. It's not like Mordecai was expecting Rigby to change, and it's not like Rigby was going to become a better person for Benson of all people, so Rigby just remained stagnant and just kept causing problems. But once Eileen actually started helping him a lot, caring for him, always being there whenever Rigby was in a situation where nobody would help him, Eileen was always there. So Rigby finally had a reason when he started to develop feelings for Eileen to become a better person, which leads to one of his best arcs in the entire show after Dumped in the Altar, when we learn that they're finally dating, that we get to the episode Eileen Plan, where Rigby sees that Eileen wanted a future with a smart guy, somebody who could do incredible things, and she wants to go on to be president, win a Nobel Prize, and it just makes Rigby feel so dumb and so useless.
Patents, but just super smart is okay too?
Oh man, I don't even know anyone like that, much less am I married to him.
Yeah, pretty funny.
So he decides to go back to high school and try to get his diploma to prove to Eileen that he is worthy of her. And just throughout the entire journey that he goes through season 7, all of this stuff for Eileen, going to Jablonski where he overcomes his high school bully, going to Rigby Goes to Prom where he's able to reconnect with his father thanks to Eileen and actually develop into a good relationship with his father after he saves his father's life from a crash.
What you did back there was really impressive, Rigby. I mean, it showed initiative. maybe you have changed, so, I guess you can borrow the car whenever you want.
That episode is hilarious, that episode is amazing, and it's one of Rigby's best episodes, and it never would have happened if it wasn't for Eileen. And then going to Rigby's graduation day special, where Rigby is giving his biggest speech to the entire nation, and he has the realization when he's talking, he didn't write any of this down, that he initially went back to high school just for Eileen, but he did it for himself too.
And yeah, maybe at first I was just trying to impress my girlfriend. She's smart and cool and loves rocks and modern dance. Hi, Eileen.
Hey, Rigby.
But I wouldn't be standing up here if that was all there was to it.
He became a better person because of his girlfriend, but ended up completing it for himself. Rigby's arc is incredible to watch, and it was all jump-started by Eileen. And at the end of season 7, everybody got launched into space. And yes, that was a shocker on its own, but one of the biggest surprises was the fact that Eileen was in the house, and she was now there in space with the rest of the main cast for the final season. And did she go on to do anything that crazy other than just being smart in a lot of situations? No, not really. She had a really good terror tale that I actually enjoyed a lot about vampires. That was pretty good. But Eileen was kind of just there to be smart, to add some conversation to certain plots, but really didn't do too much for the season, which was fine because it was honestly just nice to have her. I wasn't expecting a lot from Eileen in this episode. I mean, her relationship with Rigby was already perfect at this point, so we didn't really need to develop that into anything. So her just being there, that was honestly good enough. And if there was any character that deserved to go into space with everybody, it was Eileen. A character that had slowly been built up to be this genuinely amazing female character, female love interest, a character that genuinely had hobbies, that had interests, and was one of the most well-rounded characters in all of regular show, and from the beginning was just crafted into a perfectly written character. Eileen deserved to be part of the main cast, and I honestly wish that she was just part of the park for the entire show, and I hope in the Lost Tapes we get a lot more of her because she is by far one of the best characters in regular show.